Well, this is a short story. This is called The Decimal System for Cataloguing Memories. When my father died, and after the funeral, and then a couple more weeks, we gathered in his library at the back of the house to sort through all of his stuff. His books, papers, files, collections. He was a journalist and his life had been the collection and noting of things. Clippings, photos, ideas written on anything from a theatre ticket to foolscap notebooks. He was always going to write a book. Perhaps there had been some order at the start in the early days, but a lifetime and then a dotage and then the diagnosis, and while there was still the desire for some order, well, if there was some order to the room, we searched for how his mind worked, sharp at first and then less so. Did not find it. Worse than sorting through your own memories is to rummage through someone else's, and if that is someone else's memories that intersect frequently with your own, nostalgia fills the room like the dust and tears and sneezes, and not much has been done. We must be more systematic, said my sister. Why? I asked. What are we trying to do? To sort it out, she replied, as if that was obvious and that then the task would end. His old typewriter was still on the desk, and next to it a file, a book he had been working on, and I remembered a childhood of tapping, his distinctive hard typing, the ching of the carriage return, silence for a while, and then repeat. While we sat in the kitchen table doing our homework, he worked each evening on his novel. The stack of books, signed first editions from friends, from someone he might have interviewed, from total strangers. We would never know the difference. Did he read each of their novels and add their stories to the memory that was his life? Did he confuse then those stories with the newspaper truth, the collection of clippings and the yellowed papers, some that were important and others that were just there to line the shelves? What was real and not? What was important and what was not? Perhaps there was an order. Perhaps there was more important things were collected in the better places, like you just throw some things on the shelf but carefully put others away. The file cabinet was full to overflowing. My brother pulled out the top drawer and began to sort, to read, the yellowed pages throwing swirls of dust into the fragile air as he turned each page. Stories, memories, articles, notes, some true and some not, all of it now gone. How do you catalogue such things? The Dewey System? Alphabetical? Do the forgotten dreams of my father fall under fiction or non-fiction? Is the hollow left by him just the same as the hollow left on the shelf by taking away a handful of books? The house was empty now, hollow too. It must be sold to satisfy some financial reality, and all of this stuff must go. The three of us sat for a whole day, then a second, reading papers and opening files, sorting what to keep, what not, but later we just sat. We talked. Ashes to ashes, we said. On Sunday evening we carried everything to the backyard, books, files, boxes filled with papers, but also the typewriter, some brass journalism awards, things, who knows what. We made a stack and set fire to it, and we sat around and watched it burn, not talking much. We each had our own memories to sort, and while the fire burned all night we sat, and I was thinking about how my father and his memories would now be reunited by the fame, catalogued as in the past. Pretty sad when you read like that, isn't it?
It's interesting. Do you leave it? Do you leave your memories on paper? And it's interesting. It was very interesting. Yes.
A friend on my Facebook page just sent me a note, and it was a quote from Hemingway, and it said, "Writing is easy. All you do is sit at the typewriter and bleed." Yes. So in response, I wrote this poem. So this contains a lot of well, it's obvious what it is. The poem is, "The blood on the floor at my desk is not mine." Mrs. Weirtunga died of a stroke. There was not too much pain. Half paralysed, she lingered for weeks, then gone. Nathan was shot through the head at point-blank range. It had to be. Dramatic tension will not rise on its own. In a pit in the northern desert I buried several hundred refugees. We shot them first, pushed the bodies in by tractor. It was simpler. The art lady named Tricia was found bashed in the gallery, a cricket bat the bloody weapon. but in reality it was me. Yankee is now dead, no longer required. He should have found himself another story, or retired. The teenager who hanged himself, I feel sorry for his mother, although we never met. Just as well, perhaps. Spanner the mechanic was eaten by a crocodile. Pablo the poet was taken by old age. A kayaker went missing, no trace. And so the list goes on. It's carnage at the writing desk. Hemingway was right. Writing is so easy if you sit at the desk and spill blood.
I'll be back with more from the pen of Martin Chambers right after this song from Nora Jones.
I thought I could say I'm going to do something a bit more uplifting, but I'd be lying. Sort of, pick some stuff out, and it's all very sombre. This is called Birthday. I hear the call to prayer today. It does not silence the kookaburras, who in the park outside the walls cry foul. I do not know for sure that you are in there, but they will not let me visit. Each morning, and this morning in particular, at morning prayer, I think of you. While we played beach cricket and chased girls in fast cars, you sent text about our conquests, and you were painting placards, protesting, asking questions at public meetings that later became few, and then none, and then not allowed. At your first arrest we scolded you. Life is to be enjoyed. I accused you of being one of them, those professional protesters who will never come to any good, who waste away their life tied to trees, champions for everything while we were champions to none. And now, outside the walls, I wish for you, the disappeared, and I wonder, how can we ever get back that which was, that is now lost? And now, at the call to prayer, I realise it was not us who knew the value of your freedom. And now I hear what you were saying in that kookaburra laugh.
What was the inspiration for that, may I ask?
Oh, my daughter.
Uh-huh.
Who
I didn't know if it was personal or not. Yeah, it sounded like it.
and actually, my family without me went on a tour of Iran, and there's all the refugee stuff going on, and the Christian Muslim sort of debate, and just the idea that if we don't stand up for what we believe in, the world can change, and people in Iran get locked up and disappear. So whether it be to save a tree or to save the life you like.
Yes.
Yeah. And this one's got kookaburras in it too, so there's a kind
I like kookaburras.
Yeah.
You got me there.
But it's kookaburras don't laugh very happy, do they? It's a very sad laugh.
Oh no, I don't find that. I'll have to listen more intently to the sad side of it. No, I always feel they make me feel happy when I hear them. So there you go. All right, let's hear your interpretation.
This one's called Where Are You Now? The kookaburras bite holes in winter stillness, gaps that fill with nothing, not even silence. And I drag myself awake. I know that whoever calls their cry a laugh did not live this day. This day that like no other in a landscape of days that are all the same, all the same. I walk the dog to the beach and he bounds and barks at the waves, at the birds, at everything, and it is all I can do to toss the ball, but it gives at least a little space, and I watch and think that as if to compensate for my listlessness, he chases possessed. Maybe. It was always you who threw the ball, that blue ball with the green outline of continents, the world, the one you said always was his favourite. The ocean is quiet this morning, punctuated by fishing boats and a painted island. Ships slip away off the far edge, but I do not have my poet's eye. This is not an ocean of possibility where horizons beckon or hide promise of new and unseen things, or sing sail away to places nowhere that I want to go. Rather, I see a desert, an endless same, an aquatic drudgery. I look down at my feet and to the spray of sand as he digs to China. Is each grain a world? Are you on one of them? Are we thrown to chaos at the whim of some cosmic dog who hurls our world and thousands like it to the breeze. We fly out of control to who knows what oblivion. Or is that flight a short, sweet thing, a brief and living lifting from the tide? I search for reason, but all I find is some dog-tossed thoughtlessness, and I see that ultimately we are fallen and drowned, washed away and lost with all that came before, swirled and mixed among all that is to come. I carried your ashes to the beach, our beach. You stained the water, the white sand. I cried a second ocean. This one an ocean lost of possibilities. And then I lay down to drown in the sand, and for the first and only time in his life, the dog sat too, licked my salty tears, as worlds were washed away. That was fun.
I can see where you're coming from with the kookaburra.
It sounds like a kookaburra.
A happy one, I hope. Well, have you got one more for us before the...
This one's called Tsunami.
Okay. You're a cheerful dude, aren't you?
This is very cheerful, this one. Now is the time of the dry low tide before the grief tsunami. We live our lives like this. Our grief is only for ourselves. The fallen around us serve only to remind of our own short stay on the sand flats, that here comes the wave. You can hear it roar at each sunrise, at the going down of the sun, and in the morning, remembering.
For our time to 12:51 this afternoon, and Martin, have you been writing? Have you been writing a lot? Are you a serious writer?
How do I answer
Are
that?
you disciplined? 25 questions.
I'm disciplined. I think from the tone of my poems that I've just been reading, I am obviously too serious. Because I'm reading, I think, geez, these are heavy. I write full time,
Right.
and I actually have a book coming out with Fremantle Press. It'll be August the 1st next year that it comes out. So
containing what? One particular
around
genre?
about 100,000 words in an order.
Is it like poetry and prose and short stories, everything, or is it just all of the one?
It's about people smuggling, and it's set on a remote cattle station in Northern Territory. It's a novel.
It's a novel, okay.
Yeah, and in fact, one of the things there, my editor said to me, he says it's very dark.
Hello, I'm Martin Chambers. Your face does not give away that you're a melancholy person, but the content of your writing.
My aim of writing, I think one of the aims of all writing should be
to entertain.
Well, to entertain, but to go from laughter to tears.
Yes.
I mean, that's the challenge is to really
evoke the emotions.
Yeah, emotional. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm just doing the structure of that now, and there are some funny bits in it, and I can see why because it deals with some. I mean, people smoking is pretty nasty sort of.
Yes, yeah.
All of the, not just the process of people smoking, but the fact of it. Like where people, what they're escaping from, and how we deal.
Right.
How moral issue.
Yeah. It's a big topic to undertake.
It is, and it's entirely a fiction. So it's all.
Well, Martin, come back when you're being published, or when you've just been published, will you, and talk about it and talk about the process, because we were just talking in the break. Just tell us a little bit about the promotion for the book.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the video animation. We're doing some video animation scripts. So I have some other books already published, and so on the website we're trying to work. And basically, it's about there's no money in writing, so you're trying to do things on the cheap. So we've got a girl in the Philippines who draws cartoons, and we lay down a script, and it's an animation script promoting the book, and it's just great fun.
Is this online? Is that only online? It's not the only media that you're using for this animation stuff?
Yeah, so that's on the website, and it's on the YouTube video. So people.
What's your website?
martinchambers.id.au. If people just Google Martin Chambers,
right,
and
take it from there.
There it'll,
Yeah, I look forward to reading it when it comes out. So good luck. It's not all cruisy, is it? When you're trying to do it all yourself, publish it, find a publisher, do it all, and now you're going.
Yeah, there's like the creative part is there's a left and right brain thing, and one part of it's very left brain and creative, and the other part's very right brain. careful, and it's hard to, as you've got to do both, and so the poetry comes out of one side of your brain, and then the other side saying, be sensible. Can I read another poem?
You can absolutely read another poem.
So this one's called Clutter, and in this poem there is a character appears, my mate Jeffrey. It starts with my mate Jeffrey, and my mate Jeffrey is the one we're actually doing the video animation scripts with. So that's the link there.
Okay.
This is called Clutter. My mate Jeffrey runs performance workshops for businessmen. Achieve your potential leadership. Shit like that. He says, your desktop is the window to your soul. On my desktop, the in-tray overflows with bills, tax receipts, junk mail leaflets of interest. Next to it, a stack of A4 paper, handwritten quotes from the radio, or half poems, scribbles, things I am working on, or printouts of some joke that seemed funny at the time. Books, old and new, a thesaurus, yesterday's newspaper, some magazines unread, a cup of pens, 6 pencils, paper clips. Who uses those these days? An apple core withered. That must have been some time ago. It dehydrates atop the photo of a gorilla in Rwanda, big-eyed and coffee-stained from the ring of my cup. There's a lot of dust, notebooks, elastic bands, a box of stamps, old screws and a piece of wood. Where did that come from? My other desk, the one inside, it has your picture, not much else. Your voice, your smile, a movie as you turn and flick your hair in answer to some question about nothing. Your eyes, your laugh, your tears. Each evening at close I sweep to clean the desk and fill to over full the rubbish bin beside. Yet each morning there you are again, your picture on my desk.
Well, that was nice. You've got another couple there?
Well, I've got a little one. This is called Angels.
All right.
It's very short. Fallen angel, heal my wings with your tears. Lay your head on my shoulder to weep. Cry for what might have been. Sadness, a thing of this earth, not made for us. Soon we will fly. Soon we will fly.
Well, Martin Chambers, it's been very, very nice to see your smiling face again. So keep writing and come back and see us, won't you?
Thank you.